says suspension, brakes, and tires. So really all the way from here to where it says tires. Right there. Same over here for the glass. You here for an air? Okay, so this would be the side. So everything from here to here. So you walk up to the front of the truck because you have to do it. You pick the card up. So the very first section, it says the front of the vehicle. All right. When standing in front of the vehicle, the very first thing I have to do always is make sure that I don't have any major damage on this truck. That I walk around it and look that nothing's been wrecked, nothing is broken or falling or dragging or anything like that. That I can still go down this road with this truck without any problems. Another thing I have to do when I'm in the front is I have to check for leaks. I have to listen to make sure I don't hear air leaking for the air leaks. I'm just kind of walking around, listening to the hoses, the parts. And I also got to look under the truck for the fluid leaks. So I'll just look down there, make sure I don't see anything dripping from the engine, the transmission, and the radiator. Not only no drips, but also that there's no puddles underneath the truck. Where something might have already dripped all the way out and it's already all on the ground. So you might not see the dripping, but you'll see the puddle down there. So make sure you tell them that. And then another thing is I gotta just look down the side of my truck to make sure I don't see any flat tires, low tires, or any damage to the tires. And that is the front of the vehicle section. Next, it says lights and reflectors. So they told you the driver's side, so just right here, look. I'm gonna start with the headlight first. I'll start by making sure that it's securely mounted, checking that it's not cracked or broken, that it don't have any moisture buildup inside of it, that it is the correct color, which is clear or white, and make sure that I check both functions on it, that is the low beam and the high beam. But remember, you do it when they ask you to do it, to turn them on. Right now, you're just explaining to them what it is. And that's it. And then I would move on to my left turn signal here, and also my right turn signal over here. Make sure you point them out there, or they consider that to be unique. But look, I'm looking at both, making sure that both of them are securely mounted, checking that both of them are not cracked or broken and have moisture, making sure they're both the correct color, which is amber. And as far as functions, they also have two. They're turn signals, like I said, left and right, and they're also my four-way flashes or emergency lights or hazard lights, whatever it is you call it. They're okay with all those three names. Then I would go ahead and move on to the clearance lights up there. Checking the same thing, that they're securely mounted, they're not cracked, broken, they don't have any moisture, they're all the correct color amber, and functions, they only have one. They just come on with my running lights, and that's it. As far as reflectors, because it says lights and reflectors, we just checked all the lights. As far as reflectors, look, this truck is not equipped with any reflectors for me to inspect. So you just tell them that and you're done with lights and reflectors. Now it says the engine compartment. So this is where you open up the strap. Pop the two straps on both sides, and then you go to the front and open up the hood. Driver's side. Look, right away you see all the coolants and all the fluids, I'm sorry. You got the engine coolant, you got the power steering fluid, you got your windshield washer fluid right here. And if you look inside here, you will see the little yellow ring for the engine oil. So just do one at a time. Look, that's the yellow ring right there for the engine oil, dipstick. You don't have to pull it out, you just got to pull it out. The way that I would check that, and I tell everybody use the stick as an example. Because I would grab it, I would pull it out, wipe it off, push it back in there, pull it out again, find the gauge, it says add and full, and just make sure that the oil is in between those two lines. Once I do that, I just put it all the way back in, and then look around the engine just one more time, make sure no oil is leaking from it. And I got the engine coolant reservoir right here. I'll start by making sure it's securely mounted with every single nut and bolt. Check that all the clamps are securing the hoses in place. Checking that nothing is cracked or broken. In this case, also leaking from any of the hoses or the reservoir tank itself. Making sure this cap ain't missing or loose. And most important, making sure Same thing with the power stream fluid reservoir. Securely mounted, not cracked, not broken, clamps, everything. Correct level, cap, leaks. Nothing changes, guys. You just gotta point them out, the names. The windshield washer fluid, again, everything the same, except these have gauges. Here, 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 here. And this one doesn't. So in this case, you just gotta tell them, look, this doesn't have a gauge. So I just gotta fill it up every chance I get to keep it as full as I can. That's all you gotta tell them there. And those will be your 4 fluids. Now you got 4 parts to the engine. If you follow this hose, this one right here, you see it coming out of the radiator, and you just follow that one, follow it right there, all the way to where you see that clamp right there. Where that clamp is clamping the hose onto the water pump. So that's your water pump right there at the end of the hose. You really can't see much of it. So you just point in that area right there and say, look, that's the water pump. I gotta make sure it's securely mounted with every single nut and bolt. Check that the clamps are secured to all the hoses too. Inspect the condition, that nothing is cracked or broken, bent. In this case, also make sure that it's not leaking any of the coolant from the water pump. But most important, I have to make sure that it's working correctly. And the way that it works, it is a belt-driven water pump. You can see the belt that's right there in front of it that turns it, makes it work. I'm not talking about the belt, so I'm not going into the belt and saying, hey, the belt, this and that. I was just talking about the water pump. That's why I stopped it. It's belt-driven, and that's it. Now, so you make sure that they know that you're going to move on to another part. Now I'm going to check the belt. And what I'm going to do here is make sure that I push on it somewhere in the middle to make sure that there is no more than maximum of 3/4 of an inch of play or slack in that belt. Also look at it and inspect it for abrasions, bulges, cuts. Make sure it's not rubbing on anything or just any fraying, any type of damage to it. So that's 2 parts. The other 2 are on the other side. So this is where you got to go find your unique parts on the other side of the truck. Right there at the end of the stick, that is the alternator. Touching right there. You just put your stick in there, just point at it and say, look, that's the alternator. Same thing, gotta make sure it's securely mounted with the nuts and the bolts. Gotta check that it's not cracked or broken or bent anywhere. The alternator does have the wires or cables that are coming from the battery connected to it. So I have to make sure that those are all secured with no rust or corrosion on those connections. Again, I have to make sure that it's working correctly, and the way that it works, it's also belt driven. It's that same belt that I already inspected that turns, the water pump turns this as well. For the air compressor on these trucks, guys, it is really hard to find it. It's more of an explanation, just trying to tell them if the air compressor is on the back side of the engine and blah, blah, blah. I just tell everybody, just point at this compressor over here. It's not the correct one, but at least you're pointing at something and you're giving them the explanation, which is really what matters. So look, that's the air compressor. I'll make sure it's securely mounted. I'll check that it's not cracked or broken. I'll listen to make sure that there's no air leaking from it. I'll make sure that it's working correctly, and the way that it works, belt driven as well. That's all you got to tell them.
And the truck that I'm taking the test on today, the air compressor is on the driver's side.
Are you doing the standard?
Yes.
Yes, it's on the driver's side.
It's on the driver's side at the bottom.
So you need to only inspect the belt on that one first time, and you say that that's the same belt.
Same belt, that's it. No, because it's the same belt. You'd just be wasting time, telling them about the belt color if it's just one belt. So, those are the 4 parts. The water pump, the belt, the alternator, and the air compressor. We covered the 4 fluids, which were all on that side of the truck. But now, if you look, you got a bunch of hoses all over the place. Even though we kind of talked about it at the beginning, about checking for leaks and stuff, tell them, look, I'm right here. I'm going to look at all the hoses, make sure no clamps are missing or loose or even fittings, that all the hoses are secured, inspect the condition of them, that they're not ripped or torn or cut, have fraying, abrasions, air leaking or fluid leaking from them. And you can even go as far as talking about wires as well. And you would check all the wires that you don't see any burnt wires or loose wires. All the connections are secure. Guys, just so y'all know, some of these wires, they do have extra plugs that don't get used. That's just the way they come from the factory because we don't have all the accessories. So you will sometimes see just loose connectors like that, but that's because that's the way it is. Don't point anything out like that though. You don't really have to tell them. It's just for y'all to know that. And then you would just walk to the other side. And so when I would come over here, then I would do the exact same thing that I did over there and trip all the clamps and the hoses on this side and the wires on this side as well. You really don't have to repeat it. This is all you're going to do the same thing you did on that side. So do it right on one side and then just tell them on the other side. So that's your engine compartment. Now you got the steering components. So right here, the long bar you see right here. You can see it in here too. One right there. That is the steering column. It comes all the way from your steering wheel, and you can see it'll go all the way to the steering box. Just kind of touch it right here where you can see it. Okay, look, that's the steering column. I just got to make sure that it's securely mounted on both ends, over here and over here. Make sure it's straight, not twisted, bent, cracked, broken. That is full of grease. Also, it has a U-joint, just like the drive shaft over there. It has a U-joint that also has to be full of grease. And inspect the area around the U-joint that is clean. Nothing is stuck in there that's not going to allow it to turn free. And here you can even go as far as telling them, and another thing I would do is I would just grab it and try to turn it right or left and make sure that there's no more than 10 degrees play on it. Right or left. You don't have to get your hands dirty. Just got to steering box, power steering box, gear box. All those names are good. Right here. What I'm going to do is make sure that it's securely mounted with all the nuts and bolts first. Check that all the clamps are secured with the fitting. All the hoses are secured with the fittings to it. Inspect the condition, that nothing is cracked or bent or broken on the steering box. And also make sure that it's not leaking any of the power steering fluid that's inside it. This right here, guys, look at it. What does it look like? Like an arm, right? That is the pivot arm. Looks like it's pulling this right here, or dragging it, right? That is the drag link. I know because the reason I'm telling y'all this is because some of y'all watch videos and they call all these parts out. So you got the pivot arm, it's dragging the drag link, and at the end of that link, there's a control arm. Those are all your those are not all of them, but those are some of the main components there that are part of your steering linkage. You hear that on videos. You really don't have to call those names out. You can if you want to, if you can remember them. But if you at least call it the steering linkage and just point the stick on all those parts. Okay? Say, look, I'm checking the steering linkage, which are all these parts that are linked together right here that make these tires turn. And what I have to check for is that every single nut and bolt is secured and tight. If there's any cotter pins on the castle nuts, make sure they're not missing, that they're there. Inspect all the parts and none of them are cracked or broken or worn out or loose at the joints. Some of them need to be greased, so I got to make sure everything is full of grease on all the steering linkage. Okay? Or you want to call out the names, go ahead, but it's just going to take you longer because you'll be like, look, this is a pinman arm. I got to make sure it's securely mounted, not cracked or broken, full of grease. Then I got to check the drag link, make sure it's securely mounted. But look, all together it's my steering linkage, and you just check it all at once. Save time. Up here, those are the power steering hoses, right? If you look at this blue one, if you were to follow it, it comes straight to the steering box. If you look at the other hose over here, this black hose on this side, and you follow this one, it starts going towards the back of the engine. Right there, you lose sight of it. All you gotta do is tell them, look, at the end of this hose, over there on the back of the engine, that's where the power steering pump is. When I do find it and identify it, I gotta make sure it's securely mounted. I gotta check that it's not cracked or broken, that it's not leaking any of the power steering fluid that's inside of it. I have to make sure it's working correctly. And the way that works back there, that's gear driven because there's no belts on the back side of the engine. It's a gear driven power steering pump. Can't see it? But you're telling them how to find it right at the end of that hose. So those are all the steering components. Once you're done with steering, well, then it tells you to move on to the axle, right? The steering axle. And just like the back over there, it's broken down into suspension, brake, and tire parts. Same thing when it comes to suspension, guys. You got the frame right here, just like you have the section of frame over there. Just point at the frame in here and say the same thing. You got to make sure the frame is not twisted, bent, cracked, broken. You don't have illegal welds or repairs. Everything should be mounted securely to it. Spring mount on the front, spring mount on the back, just like the back of the truck. Got the leaf springs right here too. Got the U-bolts right here, like we checked on the back. But remember, I told you the back did not have shock absorbers. Here on the front, we do have a shock absorber. It's this one right here. This one that's up and down right here. That's the shock absorber. We just got to make sure that shock absorber is securely mounted on the top and the bottom. It's straight up and down, not twisted or bent. And make sure that no fluid is leaking from it. That's the most important part right there. But here you don't have to tell them that you don't have airbags or air mounts, but you can if you want to. Just, hey look, there's no airbags or shock absorbers, or air mounts. I just have that. The frame, the spring mounts, the leaf springs, the U-bolts, and the shock absorber. And then the brake parts, when it comes to the brakes, guys, nothing changes. Look, there's the brake hose right there. There's the ABS wire right there. At the end of the brake hose, you can see the brake chamber right there. It's smaller than the back one, but it's right there. And here you can see the slack adjuster and push rod. Remember, back there you couldn't see them because they were behind the bracket, but that's it right there. That's the slack adjuster. And the push rod is the one that looks like a fork right there. It's pointing inside the brake chamber. You still can't see the brake drum because it has that same rock cover inside there. But you still gotta just, this is what I tell everybody. Don't turn the tires. This is the brake cover. That's the ABS. That's the brake chamber. That's the slack adjuster. That's the push rod. What am I doing? I'm pointing at everything. The explanation is what matters. Inside here, just gotta reach your hand around like this. There's this rock cover, but inside there is a brake drum, and this is where the brake shoes are at. You can see the brake drum from right here. Some of those examiners over there don't know, you know, because they're just book smart. They're not really, and if they're new, and you point at the brake drum from this side, they're gonna be like, it's not where I was told the brake drum. The brake drum was on the inside. So you might throw them for a loop, and then they think that you don't even know what you're talking about, and they'll kind of against yourself. So you gotta point here, say, look, you can see the brake drum from here, or you could also see it from here. Make sure you point at both times.
Now,
Go ahead.
you just pointed and naming out the parts. That's enough.
No. I'm just telling you it's the same explanation you would have told them back there, because it's just be like, I already told you everything you were saying. We pretty much wrote it all down already. The parts are this, it's the same part, it's the same explanation. You do have to call it out, because remember, this is a car name. I just don't want to repeat everything all over again sometimes. But you have to, yes, you do have to call it out and say, look, that's the frame, it's securely mounted, it's not cracked. Everything that I told you already. I'm just telling you, letting you know that it's the same part, the same explanation. Where it does change a little bit is here on the tire, because over there I told you there's two, and you can have two 32nds of an inch, but here we only have one, so you have to have at least 4 32nds of an inch thread in the tire. And not only that, on the front you are not allowed recap tires. On the back you are, because you have two, but when there's only one tire, no recap tires. But it has to be wearing evenly. It shouldn't have abrasions, bulges, cuts, punctures. You have to check the air pressure on the valve stem right there. First by making sure the valve stem's not damaged or leaking air, and then by putting the pressure gauge, checking that it does have 100 pounds of pressure or that it's filled to the manufacturer. And then you move on to the rim, just like the back, checking that it's not cracked or broken, bent, no illegal welds or repairs on it. The lug nuts, the studs, no shiny metal or rusters. Those are the indicators they would be loose. No missing lug nuts, no twisted or bent studs or distorted or worn out. Over there, I said axle seal right in the middle. This is a hub oil seal on the front here. Wherever you see the oil like this and there's a little cap that you can pop off, those are wheel hubs. So you have a hub oil seal, and you also got to check the oil inside. Tell them I got a hub oil seal. I got to look around the edge right here that it's not leaking oil, that it's securely mounted. And I would have to pop that cap or just clean the sight glass off real good to make sure that I could see inside there that I do have the correct amount of oil, which would be in between that add and full line right there. Believe it or not, it does say add. It's small, but it tells you right there. And that's your explanation for the front of the vehicle. Everything from the front to the tires. Are you done? Yes. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Okay. If you're doing the Class B, same instructions as we got earlier. To complete this test, to the inside, check the lights. If you're doing the A, if you're here for the A license, your instructions are going to be, okay, well now that you've done to there, now I want you to go and inspect the coupling devices like we did earlier. So you would just come over here to your coupling devices, and then when you finish with those, you're going to get the same instructions. Are you done? Yes. Okay, well now, check the lights, check the inside, and it's always the same. It's only A is this front section, where B is the middle section, and C is the trailer inspection. But the interior and the coupling devices is on every single one for a Class A license. It's not on the coupling are not for the Class B driver license, but the interior is on every single car. So if you do get the full truck inspection, for those of you that are here for the Class B, they will tell you, hey, look, I want you to do a full truck inspection, everything from the front of the vehicle to the rear of the vehicle. You have 45 minutes to complete this. Just do the driver's side. Unless you know if you have unique parts, go over there and point them out. If you have any questions for me, no, okay, we'll go ahead and start. And you have to cover everything from the front to the back. Okay. If at any point you're doing this test, guys, and they tell you to do the whole thing, whether it's the truck and trailer or just the truck for the Class B. Say you're barely down the list right here, and they ask you, are you done? What are you going to say?
No.
Oh, I still got the rest of the list plus the inside, right? Unless you know that you've completely done everything on the outside and the inside, you are not done. So don't even say, hey, yeah, well, I'm done with this front section, but I still got to do this over here. No, I'm not done. I still need to finish more. Don't ever say yes, because they can turn that yes and turn it into a, oh, so you're done? Yes? Are you sure? Yes? Okay. Well, you just failed because you barely put the front. You haven't even done anything else. Never say yes if you're doing a full truck and trailer. I mean, you can say yes if you get card A, because they only tell you, hey, just inspect everything from here to here. Are you done? Yeah. Well, you just asked me to do from here to here. So, yeah, I'm done with that. But if they ask you to do a full truck or a full truck and trailer, and you're not halfway done this list and they ask if you're done, no, I still got to inspect the rest of this list right here, plus the inside, you know? Don't let them trick you. Pretty much for anybody that's here for the B, that's it, because you just have the front section or the back section plus the inside, or you would have to do the whole truck if you did that full truck.
So on this card, this right here is A. This is B.
No, everything from the door to the rear of the truck is B.
Okay, and there is no C?
No, C is only for the Class A.
Okay.
That's for anybody that has to do the coupling and the trailer.
So it's A, B.
A, B, or the full truck.
Okay.
That's
If you're
the
here
C.
for a Class B license, remember this is the side, and it's from here, from the front to the tires, is the first part of the card A, and then the second part is the inside. So first you check this, and then you check the inside when you're asked to complete the test. So you get the card B, it's going to be from the driver door to the rear of the truck, here to there. And then when you finish that, they're going to ask you to do the inside. Or if you pick the card where they tell you to inspect everything, well, you have to do the whole thing, front to back, plus the inside. So there's only really 3 cards for the Class B. The A card, the B card, or the full truck. Anybody that's here for the Class A, there's 4 cards. A, which is the same section, the front, plus the coupling, plus the inside. B, from the driver door to the back, plus the coupling, plus the inside. The C card, which is what I'm going to do next, for those of you who have it, is when you're asked to do the coupling devices, they'll tell you, look, you got card C. I want you to do the coupling devices first. And then when you finish with the coupling devices, I want you to go ahead and inspect this trailer from the front to the rear. But of course, y'all also have the 4th card, which would be the whole inspection from the front to the back. So, C card. First, come and do the coupling devices like I showed you earlier. Alright, good luck with your physical. First, when you get card C, you come and you inspect all your coupling devices. And then when you finish with the coupling devices, you start on the trailer. So you go from here to here. So, once you're done with the coupling, you come to the trailer right here. Say, look, this is the headboard on the front of the truck right here. You can see where it's welded to the trailer. The headboard, I gotta make sure that the welds that are holding it are secured, they're not cracked or broken. This headboard ain't twisted or bent or cracked or damaged in any way. And I have to make sure that it's strong enough to secure the load from sliding forward off of the trailer. Right after front, just check the side lights and reflectors. So you got the side lights and reflectors right on the side right here. You want to start with the lights first, it's the same thing. Look, I'm checking the lights. Make sure they're all securely mounted, they're not cracked, they're not broken, there's no moisture inside of them. I have to make sure they're the correct color, which is amber. The last one should always be red. And those only have one function. These are all just marking lights. Ours are not turn signals or anything, they're just marking lights. And then I'll inspect the reflector sticker like I told you earlier, just to make sure that it's not peeling off in big chunks or missing big chunks, that it's still clean or clear enough to where it's visible. Then you're done with the lights and the reflectors, and it says move on to the frame right here. So you come over here to the frame. You can point at it anywhere, just look. All of this is frame. I gotta check all that frame from the front to the back. Making sure it's all straight, not twisted, bent, cracked, broken, just like the truck. And all of these that go from side to side, those are all the cross members, just like the truck. That I have to make sure they're all straight from side to side, not twisted or bent or cracked or broken. And then it says landing gear next on the list. So you come over here and you can point out at the landing gear. Look, this is my landing gear. Whenever I'm done with the crank handle, I always got to make sure I put it back on the hook where it belongs. I always have to make sure that the legs are up all the way before I try to move this truck and trailer. I gotta check the parts, you know, make sure no pins, nuts and bolts are loose. Condition-wise, nothing is cracked or bent or broken anywhere. You see some grease right here because I gotta grease it up so these legs slide up and down easier. And that's the landing gear. And then next, it says tandem release. So you walk over here to the back. And right here, you just tell them, look, this trailer does not have a tandem release. These tires, they do not slide back and forth. And that's all you got to tell them. And then you go to the next section where it says the axle, the suspension, the brakes, and the tires. And you're going to start all over again with suspension parts. Spring mount on the front, spring mount on the back, the leaf springs right inside here, the U-bolts. This trailer does not have shock absorbers. This trailer does not have airbags. This trailer does not have the air mounts. But it does have a torque arm now, and it's this one right here, the one below the leaf springs. That's the torque arm. You got to make sure it's securely mounted with the nuts and the bolts, the front, the back. It's straight, not twisted, bent, cracked, broken. And you could also come over here to the back if you want to, and you can do it from back here. You just kind of squat right here, and you can see all the suspension parts right there. Look, the spring mounts, the leaf springs, the U-bolts. There's a torque arm right over there, right below the leaf springs. Look, there's no shock absorber or airbag. And then you move on to the brakes. There's the brake hose. There's the brake chamber. There's the slack adjuster. There's the push rod. Here you don't have that rock cover, so you can see the brake drum, which is this outside one right here. And on the inside right there, you can see the brake shoes with the linings. Right inside there, that right there. And you call out all the parts and you tell them that same explanation that we talked about earlier. The only thing that this trailer doesn't have that the truck has is the ABS wire. So tell them this trailer is not equipped with the ABS wire, no ABS brakes. And then after suspension and brakes, Then you come over here to the tires and you repeat the same thing that you would have told them over there. 2 30 seconds, wearing evenly, no cuts, no abrasions, all of that stuff. No damage to the tires, no punctures, cuts. Mounted evenly. Air pressure 100 pounds after checking the valve stems if they're not damaged or loose or leaking air. The rims, you gotta check both of them inside and out, not cracked or broken or leaking. Butted up against each other right on the inside of here, right? This style of rims does not need a spacer in between them. They just gotta be butted up against one another. Clean inside here of any rust, any mud, rocks, wood, trunks, anything that gets stuck inside there throws it off balance. So I gotta make sure it's clean in there. The lug nuts, the studs, again, hub oil seal, like the front of the truck, right? Because you can see the oil. So you got a hub oil seal on the trailer and on the front. The only one that's an axle seal is that middle one right there. Then you cover everything here, and once you're done with the tires, it says go to the rear where you got the mud flaps again. You got more lights like we talked about again. When it comes to the lights, look, they should all be red except the license plate light. That one should be whiter or clear, whatever color you want to call it. They all have to be securely mounted. They can't be cracked or broken. They can't have moisture. As far as functions, you got the left, the right, brake lights together, tail lights together, parking lights together. These in the middle are just marking lights, which is one function. And that's the clear light for the license plate, just one function. Same thing about reflective stickers, not peeling off, missing big chunks, cleaning up to where they're visible. And just like the truck, remember we said no doors, no ties, no lifts? Why? Because there's no doors here to inspect. There's no chains or straps anywhere on the trailer as far as the ties. And there's no lift on the back right here either. So, once you finish with everything from the coupling to the back of the trailer, that's card C. You would just do that and do all the trailer. Which anybody, as you can see, that card C would always be the easiest one. It's all more open and easier and less parts to inspect. Once you do this, same thing. Are you done? Yes. Okay. Well, go check the inside. Go check the lights. Go check everything over there.
And then you're done.
And then you're done. So it can be A, B, C, or the full truck where they ask you to do the whole thing. Then you got to do everything that we just talked about right now. Front, back, inside, out, everything.
4 cars.
So you gotta do both of these sets of wheels, or can you just do like talk about the leaf springs on one and then just explain like this? These two have the hub, that one has the
It's best that you try to give them a quick explanation. What I tell everybody is like, look, if you practice this enough and you know that it's the same explanation, you can just run through it a little bit faster, you know?